All right. Hey, welcome to another episode of Blockchain Basement, the greatest daily streaming show on Twitch for now. We'll see how that goes in the future. But you guys, shout out to everybody in the basement. Yeah, it is very like, I need to go over here, I guess. We're gonna have a really good show for you guys today. Got some really interesting things. What do we have? The title is Nations Attacking Crypto and Top Reasons the Bitcoin Rally is Over. I may agree or disagree with some of the points in that article, but we're going to get into that. We are sitting right at resistance right now. I don't think we're going to get into the charts too much, but we've got some really good guests. If we do want to get into the charts, we've got back in studio Kelly Kellum from BitLab Academy joining us here today. Shout out to him. Prepper Crypto. Is that Kirby or Jigglypuff right there in the middle?
Kirby.
You know, you decide.
Wow,
Kirby.
shots fired.
Yeah. Well, wait, isn't it a little hard on his head?
Yeah, it's Kirby.
Doesn't that make it Jigglypuff?
No.
Oh my god.
I don't know.
We're
they look
canceling
almost
the
the same to
show.
me,
No,
but
no. No, stream's over.
Stream's over?
I'm a Pokemon maxi. This is Kirby. There's something else besides Pokemon. I don't know.
Okay. Well, obviously, beautiful Allie with us here today, and Biscuit Jesus, the B-pool operator himself.
Hello, everybody.
Oh God, don't throw me under the bus right now.
No. Is it Kelly or Kelly? It's Kelly.
It's spelled the correct way and the only way that Kelly should be spelled, and that's spelled as Kelly.
Yeah.
Kelly.
Kelly.
Why do you ask? Because that's the right way to spell it.
That is correct. Oh man, we got some stormtroopers sliding through us, and as always, we've got all of you guys in the chat. Starting with Crypto Cody 88, the other Kenny, Ralphie 227, Chemistry Bo, Metal Bob, Scott Bots, Crypto Tony. Let's see.
Ninja Glock.
Jay Mez, Jay Serrano, Crimson Caravan Company, Mama Crypto, Metal Bob, I think I already said, Prime Muty, first time chatter, Ninja Glock. Yeah, Evan Coons, love all you guys. And shout out to everybody tagging me on Twitter with the alpha. You guys have been showing me the stories. I did see, I think Big Hands Dan, the first thing I saw this morning when I opened up Twitter was like, oh, he tagged me in a lot of this stuff with Swift. We are going to be talking about, there's been some very interesting developments with Binance and a lot of other major exchanges being somewhat restricted. I wouldn't say cut off, but restricted on Swift transactions. Interesting timing considering what's been happening in Davos, CBDCs, and all those sorts of things. So something to keep an eye on. I tend to think it's all interconnected. If you guys watched the morning stream on BitBoy Crypto, DZ and I started to talk about that a decent amount, but I'd be interested to hear you guys' takes on that. To me, it is very all intertwined, interconnected. So we're going to be digging into that. Real quick, I have this one pulled, but I think I'm going to tease you guys a little bit and save it for tomorrow because I don't think we have a lot to get through today with the Swift stuff. But on this article here, maybe I'll even hide who did it so you guys can't see. But this is something I've been talking about a decent amount when it comes to picking big winners, specifically with alts. Many of next year's cycle top performers haven't even been released yet. These projects that have 50 to 100x next bull run, the next Solana or Matic could be sitting right in front of you. Now he gives 13 unreleased projects he's keeping an eye on, and we're gonna save that. We're gonna talk about that tomorrow. So
that was a really good thread.
You guys better come back tomorrow if you want to see those. Again, I know you guys like the deep picks. Not saying I know a decent amount about some of them. I've never heard of a lot of them. So we will save that for tomorrow. So you guys stay tuned. If you're real quick, you can go figure it out yourself. But I did want to hit this shout out. I know we talked about this a little bit in 2022. Obviously was a brutal year, and I just wanted to point out, if you guys are still here, look at who you've out-survived, bankrupt crypto companies in 2022 and 2023. I mean, just basically that's Genesis is only the 2023, but 3 Arrows Capital, Celsius Network, Terraforma Labs, Voyager Digital, Core Scientific, Babel Finance, Hodl, Genesis, BlockFi, ZipMex, FTX. You could throw FTX US in there. There's BlockFi in there?
According to Sam, it's Safu.
Yeah, BlockFi is in there. Yeah, all kinds of different things. So just shout out to you guys for still making it through and being here. Chemistry Bro says, yes, I'm saving about 10K of dry powder for the next quote-unquote cycle winners that aren't even announced yet. I think that's a very wise strategy. But top story of today that we're going to dig into, and we'll see how long we have to get through this, and I want to hear everybody's thoughts on Justin, reasons why Bitcoin price rally is likely over. And I would add, for now. It's not over necessarily for the year, but I do think it had a very strong move up to that 23 range, much quicker than I think a lot of people were anticipating. Yep. A lot of fun to see Bitcoin in the green again. So actually, before we dig into this story, let me ask you this, Kelly, because you haven't been with us for a while. You've been obviously doing the daily streams. If you guys aren't catching BitLab Academy on YouTube, go check them out. He's streaming every single day, especially for beginners, but also intermediate and advanced. There's a lot of good strategies and information you're sharing on that channel. You can get into the Academy. You can get into the Discord, get one-on-one kind of training and education, and we're big believers in educating the next market. But obviously, we had a great week last week. It's great to see some green. Great to be back above 20K.
Excitement in the market again.
Yeah, I mean, how are you feeling? I know you do a lot of trading. You do a lot on leverage and some longing and all that sort of stuff. How are you feeling on the macro, on the charts, on the on-chain stuff that you've been looking at? Kind of give us some of the scoop of what you've been digging into on the Academy the last week or so.
Well, yeah, what I'm really trying to do is I'm trying to bridge the gap between beginner and pro through the BitLab Academy YouTube channel. In terms on the actual BitLab Academy itself, we go in incredible detail on everything. But on the YouTube, I think it's our mission here with the whole HIT network and BitLab Academy, BitBoy Crypto, to be missionaries of sort for Bitcoin and crypto and blockchain and how it can affect everybody. So I'm trying to make sure we're touching on very similar stories other people are talking about, but really trying to break down certain core concepts about what's going on within that. And if you would, TJ, will you go to my Twitter?
I sure will.
And on the very top of my Twitter page, there's a pinned tweet. And I just want to point something out here because this is what I've really been basing this last week around, which is essentially what I call a 3-cycle theory, not theory, but a 3-cycle strategy. And no matter no matter what you do, when you walk up to a chart, you need to, or walk up or sit down, whatever you're doing you need to identify 3 different cycles. You need to identify your macro cycle, which, we're in a large macro sort of downtrend that we've been fighting our way out of on the midterm cycle. And then also on the local cycle, you can have this same pattern playing out on all 3 different cycles at different intervals. So, to the point you just brought up, TJ, you can exit out of that now. Is that, the article is about, is the rally over? Well, the question is, what stage of the cycle are people talking about? Because what I'm doing right now, I'm actually using very, very little leverage, if any. I'm focusing on spot accumulation right now until I can actually see a confirmed breakout past a critical resistance, flip to support, and then another higher high after that. Then I'm going to start on that pullback, trying to really capture some leverage up to that 38 to 44K sort of region before it reverses back down. That's sort of my plan right now.
There you go. And we got Mama Crypto says, BitLab for me, so cool. And then also Crypto Cody 88 has a question here. I wanted to hit you with this, Kelly. He said, happy to be in the green. Just wondering if I should take some profit since I don't have too much dry powder if we dip back down again, especially within speculative alts. I'll let you answer on Bitcoin, your take on that. But on speculative alts, if you got a good pump here, yes, I would say take some profit on those speculative alts. Because if we do come back and retest support on Bitcoin, I do think, and it's something you've heard me say probably multiple times now on this channel, specifically in these, the year after the dramatic bear market. So you're looking 2019 and to me 2023. If we're gonna stay in a tight range for Bitcoin as Bitcoin dominance is growing. Yep. We'll see when Bitcoin pumps. We'll see those altcoins run, and then Bitcoin pulls back a little bit. Altcoins will pull back more, so you want to be taking profit on those speculative altcoin pumps. But what would you say if they're trading Bitcoin?
Well, I think, this goes back to something you mentioned there in your, I think it was Crypto Code 88 that. Somebody said it. Whoever made that comment. It all depends on what your risk exposure is and what your risk tolerance is, and what your time horizon is. I think if you have very limited capital, I would encourage you to dive in your time to education right now and patience and stacking through the zone, not trying to capitalize on the part of the market that's all about shaking people out. Because if you are newer to the market and you don't have an endeavored sort of strategies, sort of that you're relying on, that you can fall back on, then you're more likely to end up trading out of basically. You're going to be part of your distribution. You're going to be giving other people your crypto. So I would be accumulating here until we have an actually defined uptrend, and then you can do some more trading to build on that.
There you go. And then Prepper Crypto, I know a lot of people have been enjoying some of your streams lately. What is it you've been looking at when it comes to accumulation? I know you've been playing with some other alts as well. Are you taking profits, or what are your next moves?
So I'm in a 50x leveraged long right now on Bitcoin, but then I've also I've been accumulating checkout NCT, pull out NCT. I did a live stream about NCT last week. It's a utility altcoin, really undiscovered, low market cap, a lot of use case. It detects malware systems for enterprise companies. And I just saw the FAA narrative continuing. I'm always watching the Davos and Cyber Polygon guarantees that Klaus Schwab, our favorite supervillain, gives. So I picked up some Poly Swarm.
This isn't it, BJ. This is
Oh yeah, I can pull it up if you want. basically here, the Polyswarm, it's a malware detection system. And I think that I'm more utility driven when it comes to like what I'm buying. And I see the narrative of cyber attack or cyber attack protection rather continuing to grow. So this is one that I bought in the last bull market and made some good money on, and I gave a little shout out right around here, and it's up like 50% today.
Let's go.
It's the top gainer on Coinbase, so it's feeling good. Now it's down to 35, but yeah, I'm just stacking these types of things, but then also DAG's been doing great for me. Added NCT. Now I'm trying to get an entry point to OP, and I might be getting selfish trying to get at $1.50 or $1.25. But
so there's a few alts I've been looking at. I mean, obviously a lot of them chart wise were looking very, very good over the weekend. Optimism had a huge pump. It is starting to pull back a little bit, and it's tough when you see somebody like some of these strong projects running, because that FOMO does start kicking in.
Right.
Phantom is another one that I've kind of got my eye on for the next bull run. We saw it do pretty well in this last cycle. And it's also had a little bit of a run. I'm waiting for a pullback. So what I'm waiting for before making more, kind of spot buys on alts is a correction from Bitcoin, hoping that we see somewhat of more correction on alts. Not guaranteed.
No.
But real quick, I see a lot of questions in here. Casino Dogging asking if we've gotten to the Swift payments talk yet. We haven't. I did want to touch on this. I know a lot of you guys in here love HBAR. We talk about it a lot on the channel. And I did see you guys in the chat talking about Mason had tweeted out that that Hashpack is available. That's what I was going to show, BJ. Hashpack is available on iOS right now. So if you guys are fans of this, you could download it, play with it, start learning about it, what it's going to do in the future. I know we've talked about it. Ben did an interview with them just recently. So shout out to Crypto Mason. He's been a big fan of HBAR for a long time. Probably one of the number one people getting it out there. Definitely has gotten way more exposure for it than Crypto Weatherman. All right. Also, yeah, got him. Just kidding. I mean, I'm not kidding, but anyway, somebody else, and I do want to get to this because why not? We're in the basement. We talk about what we want, and then I'm going to get back to crypto. But if you guys can answer quickly, what is your all-time favorite PlayStation 1 game coming from Astro Zombie? Kelly, you raised your hand. You had a quick answer. Go.
Twisted Metal.
Oh, you stole mine. That was mine too. Twisted Metal, hardcore.
Dude.
You got the ice cream truck. You had some great
bomb, dude.
Yeah.
I like Tony Hawk.
Tony Hawk, another good one. Another good one. Man, yeah, that's a really good one.
Twisted
BJ, do you have an
Metal.
answer there?
I'm between Final Fantasy VII and Spyro the Dragon.
Of course you are.
I
Spyro.
You played Spyro?
Yes.
Yeah, so you have PlayStation 1? What's your pick?
I guess Spyro, or was Crash Bandicoot?
Crash Bandicoot. I was going to ask any Crash
Yeah.
Bandicoot
Yeah.
fans out there. All right, so guys, everybody in the chat, drop your favorite games in there. We see Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy Tiger Woods, another strong one. Yeah, I mean, obviously Madden is another one. Yeah, but Tony Hawk, obviously, that one might actually edge out Twisted Metal for me. But man, Twisted Metal, whenever I think of PlayStation 1, Twisted Metal is the first thing that comes to mind. Just way ahead of its time,
I
in
want to
my
go buy
opinion.
one of these
So,
things again, man. That sounds fun.
I know,
I'm
right?
trying to remember. There's a Magic the
Tekken?
Gathering artist
Tekken.
that did a
Well-
lot of stuff for Twisted Metal, which I didn't realize that.
Really?
I
Interesting.
think it's Noah Bradley. I might look that up.
I mean, we'll have to save Dreamcast for another stream because there's a lot of classic, really strong games on the original Dreamcast.
Jet
So.
Set Radio or whatever.
Oh, Jet Grind Radio. I love that, dude.
Crazy Taxi.
Yeah, Crazy Taxi. You had a Soul Calibur. A lot of really good ones. So, Halo 1, was that on PlayStation?
No,
That was Xbox.
No, that was Xbox.
Come on,
But
man.
that's still a good game. I need to
Oh,
go
yeah.
pick up a bunch of old. I've been picking
That's
up
when
Game
you go.
Boy
You
Colors.
go all invisibles and only rockets,
Yeah.
and it's certain.
Yeah, you
The
can tell.
sword.
Yeah,
Get a couple brewskis.
Yeah, well, you can tell that's our generation.
Yeah.
We know our audience here. So yeah, Ape Escape. Yeah, a lot of people talking about that.
Man,
I played a lot of Crazy Taxi. If you didn't do like playing, it's one thing, but you had to do all the challenges. If you didn't do all the like special games on the, if you had it, it's just Road Rash, Mario Kart. Yeah, a lot of Mario Kart's Nintendo, but.
Yeah.
All right, so coming back to this, Bitcoin price witnessed a marvelous 40% rally in January as traders expected a turnaround of events. The Bitcoin price hit 23,282 last week, marking a 5-month high despite the FTX contagion, basically getting back above the price that that the FTX crash caused. Some reasons these people think we're going to start pulling back. European Central Bank monetary tightening. I don't know if that's as strong of an issue as they're referring to. And
that's like not even accurate at this point either. So this is
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to disagree with most of these things. I do think we're at a local area high. This 23 is resistance. I would expect a little bit of a pullback here. But it could also move all the way up to 25. That's what Frank was looking at today. We were in very bullish patterns. I know Face had opened a pretty big long this morning. I know a lot of big traders were in an ascending triangle in a lot of different time frames. The monthly's looking much better. The weekly's looking much better. We're above the 200-day moving average. So there's a lot of technical factors that show the charts are in much better, much healthier position for a move upward than we've experienced in 4 to 5 months. So that's one thing that's very interesting to me about Bitcoin. It can move very quickly. And Chemistry Bro says they want to get everyone shorting it down again to squeeze those shorts out on the way to 25 and 28. I agree. We're in the process of moving from 25, which is another key level we have to clear, moving up to 28. And then again, you've heard me say over and over, I think we're going to stay between 20 and 28 for a good part of this year with a mid-year rally up to 40, 35 to 40. So let's not get overly excited right now and think we're going straight to 40K because we don't want to get ahead of the cycle. We learned what happens, that we got ahead of the cycle in the bull market going up beforehand, which is what started making people making crazy predictions.
Right.
And then we had that double top that never really materialized, never really got the blow off top that we've seen in cycles past. So the next thing, and this is a little more relevant, and this is part of why I think we're going to experience a cool off, is the Federal Reserve FOMC meeting. So as per CME FedWatch, the probability of a 25 basis hike is at 97%. The reading has decreased the last day as investors await a fourth quarter GDP data. So this is extremely predictable to me, in my opinion. They've basically told us exactly what they're going to do and pretty much stuck to their word for the last year or two. So 25% basis hike is coming in for this cycle in just a minute. Let me see if
is this when they pull the curveball?
No, not yet. I think they'll just do it. They'll do 25% basis this point, and then I think we'll hit one more 25, and then we'll hold. But we saw last time they did a 25-point basis hike, it was completely priced in. The market basically had no reaction. So it might hold us from continuing to pump, but I don't think it's going to cause a dramatic pullback, in my opinion. And then this kind of goes hand in hand with that US dollar index volatility, or the DXY. Obviously, that has direct correlation to the funding or the interest rates. So the more interest rates go up, the stronger the dollar gets. The longer it holds, other things come back down. And then the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index plunges. Again, this is an interesting metric to keep an eye on, but this is not something that makes or breaks the market, in my opinion. Oh, this isn't going to link to the exact chart, but
I wish they would do that meter like that, though. The bowl and the
yeah, it looks a lot. There's a lot graphically cool. better on this one, but and then this is the real truth right here. This is what I was talking about. Bitcoin technical indicators single strong resistance. Bitcoin price is trending above the 200-day moving average. Analysts expect a move, which is near 25K.
Did you daily stutter there? You meant the truth.
The truth, yeah.
Yes, I would know. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Well, I will.
Continue.
Yeah. It's branding.
Yeah. In the daily time frame, Bollinger Band breakouts to subdue in the coming days. Bitcoin price can fall below 21.5. Moreover, the RSI is moving to overbought zone and is likely to fall lower. Other indicators also signal a decline in the Bitcoin price. So I tend to agree. And again, a pullback to 21.5 isn't all that dramatic from here. I would say that would be healthy. With that, you can see in this chart here, I mean, that's a dramatic move up. We thought we would consolidate here for a little while, and then boom, another dramatic move up. So to expect us to just boom, immediately go back up to 25, I think is not, put it this way, it's completely plausible. Don't get me wrong. Like, it can definitely happen, and there's pretty good chance for it to happen this week, considering those Fed raises come out next week. That being said, I think it'd be healthier to experience a little consolidation in this point, or even a slight pullback, which we want to see, in my opinion, because it starts to make those supports that much stronger.
Well, yeah, if it pulls back from here, even if you on that chart, that yellow line in the middle of the Bollinger Bands, so everybody knows that's a 20 SMA. So that also is lining up right at 19,600, which we don't have it on this chart. But if you look at like some of the points of interest, points of control, previous price action, all that is lining up also with the fib retracement right at that 19.6 level. So as long as we hold above there, it would actually pulling back into that zone and then holding there and bouncing up would be more bullish than it seems like. Because why do we want to pull back? Because then you're establishing with authority that we're having a higher low, and now we can more health. That's one of the video this morning I did about was how to spot healthy moves or spot traps in markets. And it's looking at things like this and making sure volume and volume support stochastics and the levels that are being hit are hit in confluence with each other. I'm just looking forward for it to go up. Damn it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't, like, we get one more 25 and then they're done. There's a lot of problems happening with the tightening that's coming to fruition in Japan. You know, there was a post from Remarks. Japan's prime minister is basically thinking the country is on the brink of being unable to function as a society, not within the government funding. And it comes into their falling birth rate, the loss of trade, and basically just trade tightening from the lack of capital going on around the world. And then also the European Central Bank is now being much more soft-sided when it comes to quantitative tightening. So I hear what you're saying. I really feel like we're getting a 25 base point hike, but we might end up getting.
Go ahead.
We might be getting no rate hike in March or April. There might not be one.
March or May. Yeah. We have another one March 22nd and then May 3rd. I actually have an interesting graph on that. You know, you're onto something there. There's a lot. You're not the only one thinking that. So as of today, and I should say yesterday, because I think I pulled this yesterday, the probability of another 25 basis hike for the second FOMC meeting of the year, which is March 22nd, is at 79%. But at the third meeting, May 3rd, the probability of a 25 basis is only 31, 55 for no hike, and even 12.4 for a 25 basis points rate cut.
Bam.
Which, if they started cutting rates this year, obviously that would be extremely bullish for markets. That would be the clear definition of a pivot. I don't think they would. I just don't see it. I think they should hold for a little while before they start cutting. Obviously, 12.4% isn't much. So you can see here, if we pull this chart up, here is the probabilities we just covered. You know, there's the February 1st, March 22nd, and May 3rd. So we're seeing in these ranges some of these numbers coming in lower and lower. And where was he seeing the cut? Where does it show cuts here?
Let's see.
Should be right in this range or zero.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be technically a cut. I don't see it. It's not really like.
I don't see the cut numbers in
labeled.
here, but I guess where's the 12? I guess this is it, 12.4%.
Yeah.
You know, so it's obviously we've got a lot of meetings to get through this year. We've got February, March, May, June, July, September, November, and December. We've seen from a lot of macro analysts looking in this May to June range is when we would start to see some more relief coming out of the Fed rates there. Castino Doggy says he thinks they're getting another 0.5. I see that to be extremely unlikely, especially with these odds being at 97% almost.
Isn't it interesting that the results of these halt on rate hikes will be felt, 6 months later, right as the political ads start up for the 2024 election?
It is interesting. That's the gamesmanship that we're taking into account there. Obviously, we've also mentioned the treasury buybacks that go on that kind of stimulate the economy. So they've kind of got some easing and tightening happening at the same time to relieve some things. And to Drew's point, I do think something for us to always keep in mind, markets front run reality. So a lot of what's happened, markets felt the most pain in 2022, and they're going to start to recover in 2023, while people, retail, they're going to start to feel the pain of what happened in 2022 in their lives in 2023. Yep. So even though we feel like markets are going to be improving and we're coming out of a lot of the recession kind of monetary policy, the reality is going to feel a lot more like a recession in 23 than it did in 22. Even though we were all saying we're in a recession, this is a recession, we're it right now. But all the job cuts that we've experienced late in this year, all the layoffs, the labor market, we're going to start to see unemployment rate tick up, which again is bullish for markets, but it's bearish if you're unemployed, right? It's bearish if you're trying to pay for your groceries and everything's more expensive.
A lot of them are tech jobs, though. And if you go watch the video of the Google headquarters and the day in the life of working at Google and the day in the life of working at Twitter, you'll see why these companies needed to cut these headcounts. They were completely overextended. These people were doing nothing basically if they're posting videos like that, no offense to any hard workers that are within that company, but I've seen a lot of evidence that there was very little done and a lot paid for to do it. So Yeah, I think that a thinning out of the tech sector is bullish, and we see Microsoft dumping more billions of dollars right after laying off 10,000 humans.
And right after striking a major deal with OpenAI, and there was a reference. I think AI was mentioned 3 times in the statement where they talked about laying off those people. Right. So AI is here in force. And Chemistry Bro says, "Dang, the fact that a cut is actually being predicted at all is pretty surprising," which I tend to agree.
But I'm more interested or worried about when I see things like banks or financial institutions cutting because they're less so like with the tech cutter, the tech sector cutting staff, because it's too much fat in their workforce. It's not efficient. With the banking industry, their job is to project what profits are going to be and also cut based on lack of profits from preceding quarters. So if they're projecting that things are going to get worse, then that is something that and you kind of hit the nail on the head, Drew, that, we're not guaranteed. Everybody thinks we're back in a bull market. Yeah. We very well could be. But until we form that higher high, higher low structure on a couple consecutive, and we've talked about this too, TJ, we could go all the way to $50,000, which is the golden pocket of the all-time high, and get rejected and continue down for another, 2-3 years. So although I don't think that's going to happen, especially based on the 4-year cycle, but we have to prepare for all things, especially with as wild as the socioeconomic landscape is right now.
Yeah, and it's dire. That's part of these numbers we're going to look at right now is kind of the reality of what's setting in for people across the United States. This is just interesting. Here's an economist trying to say, the truth is striking. Here's a 3-month Supercore excluding food, energy, shelter, and used cars. And I thought this was just funny from
so manipulating the numbers.
Right, basically. Okay, so cool. Excluding all of the major expenses you might actually need as a human, inflation isn't that bad.
People are driving me crazy.
Yeah. And then, so this is Saifedean Amos, or however you want to say it, is the author of the Bitcoin Standard. Highly recommend that book if you guys haven't read it. Obviously, everybody go check out Catching Up to Crypto. Hopefully, you guys are going to make it out to the book tour. But another top tier book, Bitcoin Standard, teaches a lot about, I just say it's a history lesson in monetary policy and economics, well beyond your lifetime, well beyond the US dollar. Don't think hundreds of years, look at the last thousands of years, because we've got example after example after example of sound money, hard money policy and how well it does. And then when you break up hard money and start introducing human intervention into it, how it always erodes down to zero over time. So his take was, and I think I mentioned last week, Keynesian economics versus Austrian economics. It used to be a debate, in my opinion. We've proven it out. Austrian economics far more superior than Keynesian. But he basically said Keynesians think you can measure inflation by taking out food, energy, shelter, and used cars, which likely make up more than 80%, if more than 80% of people's annual expenditures to calculate inflation. So that's just not a great way to do it. But some numbers to keep on the lookout for, for some of you guys. This is the reality of what a lot of Americans are paying. And to kind of your point with the banks, they're seeing large drawdown. This is the chart from Bank of America on U.S. savings rate is astounding. Excluding the very brief period in 2005, savings rates are at their lowest since the Great Depression. So can you pull us down there? So
this is crazy.
Yeah. So this is U.S. savings right here, all the way back in the was 30s, kind of 29 to 41 approximately here. Grew a little bit. We saw a huge spike in between 17 and 2021, basically, or 2020, where probably a lot of this free money came in, which we know. What's that?
And
then, everybody spent it all, and then everything got more expensive, and then here we are right now. So, Americans not in the best financial situation. I know this applies to UK and a lot of other major markets as well. Here's another thing that absolutely blew my mind, guys. If you have an $800 car payment and you're not making at least $250,000 a year, what are you doing?
If you have an $800 car payment and that car is not making you money, why that is just ridiculous.
Allie could attest. I kept saying, after I read this over the weekend, I kept like, how is that the average car payment? 800. That means so many people
disturbed.
Yeah, so many people have 1,000. So many people have 1,200. So economic update, average car payment at record $800 a month. Home sales down by 18% in 2022. overdue auto loans, which is tied right into that, up 27% for the year. Credit card debt up 15%, biggest jump since 2008.
I'm still stuck on the $800.
Same. What are you driving?
Are they including their insurance as well on that? Because at that point, I'm like, okay, maybe 500 plus 300, but 800, and then you have insurance on top of that?
Yeah.
I've always wondered, I wonder if it's recently because of Uber. Like, people are getting nice cars so that they can be Uber Black or Uber Comfort.
It could be, but I think it's a direct result of inflation. We know the used and new car market has been skyrocketing over the last few years. I mean, we were talking about it. I think Drew was talking about it.
I have some things to say about what's to come in the car market too.
What do you think? Because the overdue auto loans 27%. That's a key number there too. What's coming?
I think we're going to see tons of repos, obviously. But what's going on right now is that
Manowalk says a new maxima is $800 a month payment.
So car dealership auctions are unable to sell the vehicles that are on hand, and they have a massive overflow of vehicles on hand to be able to sell, but they cannot sell them to the car dealerships at a profitable margin.
Yep.
So they're going to end up with even more repos on top of the overstock that they already have. They have a economy and retail that is unwilling to pay at the interest rates that are currently at, and now they're basically running into a stalemate. They're going to be able to play hot potato for probably another 6 months, maybe a year, and then you're going to see a gargantuan crash in the value being asked for at used car dealerships.
Yeah.
And so that's when you can move in.
That comes to IGMA. Tulips or whatever the heck his name is. Subprime auto loans are going through a crisis. Somebody else says, look at new, trucks, 100K easy. And we have to remember, guys, the way a lot of these car dealerships make money isn't really selling cars, it's financing them. Yeah. And so when interest rates rise, payments rise, and they're locking people into it's always shocked me how easy it is to walk in and get a car loan with very little information about what you actually make. They'll give you loans that they should not be giving people, in my opinion, which is what we saw happen in the housing market previously. And we're kind of seeing it happen again in the car market. What were we going to say there, Kelly?
Oh, no, I was just on Spaces. I was on Spaces about 2 months ago. And this girl, she was talking about smart investment decisions, and they were talking about this specific topic with cars. And she goes, but you know what? I made a good investment in cars. What I did was I took some of my profits that I had from last cycle, and I bought 3 tow trucks. And we're like, what? She's like, I'm seeing all these people during the pandemic buying all these cars. And I knew that there was going to be a massive repo market. And she's made like 300% on just buying tow trucks.
Big brain stuff.
But, you see I don't want to say illegitimate, but poor purchasing practices going on economically. You can start to adjust same thing within the crypto market. You could see where the stuff's moving, and you can choose to move in or out of those things to make up for that.
Yeah. It looks like we got a lot of smart people in here in the chat saying they don't do car payments. I've never really been a car payment. I've had one car payment my entire life. It was $200, and I was like, I got to get out of this thing.
I know.
Generally speaking, I drove beaters most of my entire life until crypto finally hit, and I was able to buy my cars cash.
Wow.
Which, that's not necessarily
Don't say that about the E90.
Dude,
it wasn't a beater. I'm talking, but I generally spent $5,000 or less on almost every car I ever drove.
TJ sent me my next dream car. Yeah. So I'm changing my FJ Cruiser as a dream car to the vehicle that.
Thank you.
It's a pretty baller car. But I will say in 2018, 2019, and I believe also in 2020, I drove all cars that were $1,200 or less. So
I haven't owned a car since 2006.
There you go.
Because I lived in New York.
Yeah. Well, if you ask Frank's lived here for a while. He still won't buy. He says buying cars are a scam because the maintenance and the gas and the insurance and all the stuff you just mentioned, they do tend to suck a lot of money.
Or learn how to work on it yourself.
There's that. No, that's a great skill to have. There's a great money maker, and it's good for self-sovereignty and a lot of different things. Being able to good luck working on a BMW like you like to do, BJ. A lot of electronics and stuff in there too. But understanding basic mechanics, not something that I'm great at all. I'm not handy.
It's
but
very, very
a one-wheel
useful.
Chemistry bro, my mom would love you. She is a one-wheel fanatic. She's like a off-road one-wheel racer. She's gone all around the country riding that one wheel. So, and I did see somebody said their brother parks a truck in his driveway that he pays more for than he does for his house.
Yep.
Yeah. So
That's
anyway,
chaos.
shout out to you if you got a car more than 3 or 4 years ago. You're probably happy. They have absolutely skyrocketed.
Yeah. My car's worth more than when I bought it 18 months ago.
Yep.
And I've doubled the mileage.
Yeah, I think mine is too. I'm not going to look because I don't
Do
want to sell
your
it,
own
but-
maintenance. DYOM Crypto Thorn. That's my boy. Yeah, get under there. You know, it's not that hard. YouTube gives you free knowledge. That's my opinion.
Yeah, drive a car with a tuner scene. There will be a million videos on how to do everything.
Yeah, exactly. And Big Hands Dan says Naomi even takes her dog on that one wheel. Shout out. Yes, she does. If you follow her, you'll see a lot of one wheel videos. She is obsessed. Like I
Big
said,
Hands Dan is not working on any transversely mounted engines.
no, because you
Yeah,
can't get your
he won't
hands in
fit
there.
there. Yeah, he won't fit in there. I'll try to stay on Team Toyota. I have a church pew with a Toyota symbol.
Do you
But
really?
I'm trying. But this thing TJ sent me, it's got like pepper spray that comes out of the rear views and
Yeah, it's
stuff.
like a
if
military
someone's like
vehicle.
trying to beat up your car, it's got these little. It's
It's like an anti-riot machine
yeah,
or
dude, it's
whatever.
amazing.
But
I'm gonna get it. So
all right, so now let's talk about that Swift stuff because this is kind of the hot news of the day. This.
Let's talk about crypto and the finance.
Yeah, well, this was just kind of interesting. This is related, unrelated. Federal Reserve launching investigation into Goldman Sachs. Obviously, they tend to work hand in hand. Pretty much anybody that works at the Federal Reserve or within the financial committees within the United States government is an ex-Goldman Sachs executive. You can find plenty of ties between Goldman Sachs executives or resume-built people ending up within financial policy in the United States. So I don't know.
Or running crypto channels.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to say which one.
I think, yeah, you guys might know.
There's a bureau about it, though.
That was good. This is just interesting to me. I don't know. I guess I could pull this story up here and see. We can read a little bit about it. So, Wall Street Journal reported the Federal Reserve has launched an investigation into Goldman Sachs. The probe is reportedly centered around whether or not the bank has necessary safeguards in place as it's ramped up consumer lending. According to the publication, Goldman Sachs is one of the largest banking investment firms in the world, yet the Fed has shown concern that the entity didn't have proper monitoring and control systems inside the consumer business, known as Marcus, especially as it continued to grow. It's just very interesting to me.
I mean, it's a nice headline, but the best I could see them doing is firing the administrative assistant.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically they're trying to identify whether Marcus had appropriate oversight according to the publication. Federal Reserve examination is also seeking whether protocols were in place during instances of customer harm. Subsequently, if those were issued flat, this is really what they want to see. If those issues were flagged internally and whether they were properly resolved. So what they want to know is how. Basically, we want to know more information about what you're doing and who you're doing business with. I don't think this is in unique timing considering what we're about to look at here with all this other stuff going on. We know Davos just wrapped up. The World Economic Forum happened a little bit differently this year than it has in the past, with key notable players not being there, whether they're the people that have been there for years in the past, people like the U.S. president, people like Bill Gates, people like even Klaus Schwab was not nearly as involved this year as he has in the past, who's the founder of a lot of these things. And then immediately upon hearing the number one thing they were concerned with is CBDCs, the implementation of CBDCs, and how we're going to interact between central banks and nations, and through digital assets rather than the SWIFT system and fiat currencies. And then all of a sudden, we've got this news coming out of Binance. What's going on with Binance USD withdraw deposits? We got everybody from Binance. I think they were just the first ones to break this because we now know there's been several other reports of this. I can't get that to pull up much bigger, but basically, and then this guy's asking the same thing. Is the Swift news interesting? But more or less what happened is they are limiting Binance's exchange. Silvergate is this is coming. A lot of this is coming from Silvergate, but other major players have limited deposits and withdrawals over Swift of anything under 100K. And to me, and that's as of February 1st, 2023, they made that. Here we go. Maybe I can zoom the whole screen. There we go. Let's do that. The banking partner that services your account has advised that they are no longer able to process Swift fiat transactions for individuals of less than $100,000.
AKA plebes.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, if you're poor, we won't do it for you. But if you're rich, we will.
But I'd be interested to see the metrics of how many people on Binance were actually using Swift on ramps and off ramps anyway. Because I don't know. Maybe it's also because I'm in the US. Maybe that I could be ignorant on this. But this does not change the fact that you can still, deposit and withdraw all crypto transactions between other exchanges still. This is only
Correct.
for Swift and only for, was it not Silver? Is it Silvergate? Signature Bank. It's such a small percentage of people that I don't even know why it's a story.
Well, to me, it's interesting because, and there is further ramifications. This is not just Binance. Silvergate actually has come out, and I do think we're going to start to see this applied across many other fiat providers. Right. I think it's just a direct attack on Swift and crypto interoperability. They want to have more information and control on this. And again, I think we'll see this develop more. You're right. It's not a game breaker right now. It's more scary than, sounding than it is in reality, because like you said, a lot of people, you can still use your debit and credit card in a lot of situations. There's still a lot of other ways to get dollars in and out of the system. But I do find it interesting, the timing of it, because it's starting to affect, and I tend to agree with this, with Paul Pui, another, favorite of mine, founder of the Edge wallet, solid wallet for especially new people out there, because it doesn't require private keys, or it does have private keys, but I won't get into the details of that. It's a great wallet. They do something called key splitting, and they helps you use a username and password as well.
Is that multi-sig kind of?
It's a little different, but they do have multi-sig within it. They have SegWit transactions. It's pretty cool. But this is the point I tend to agree with. Centralized crypto will always trend towards TradeFi. Only the privileged will be committed. And what he's referring to there is the fact that it's a $100,000 limit. Basically, big money that wants to do traditional finance will always trend towards centralized entities and centralized control because it works within their favor. This is not the ethos of crypto and decentralization as we go forward, but it is something we're going to see in reality. When we were talking a little bit about FTX getting spun back up yesterday, if a lot of big money people liked it because it was a good product, it had good liquidity, and a lot of that was due to the centralization. Now, the centralization was the core issue that allowed the problem to get as bad as it did, that caused the collapse. And so big money that likes to control things, they prefer centralization. It works to their favor. If you're not doing $100,000 deposits and withdrawals, you probably don't like this news. And that's what we need, is the billions of people unbanked being able to interact with blockchains. Permissionless is key. So things like the SWIFT system are anything but decentralized or anything but permissionless. They're for the elite. They're for, permissioned, accredited investors, and that you see the circle get smaller and smaller. They keep other people on the outside, and the closer you are to the center of the circle, the more advantages you have, and that is a lot of the world we're trying to fight back against. Yep. So here's a little bit more context on this, because it's coming down. It's also affecting Bitstamp, Bitthumb, Binance, eToro, Huobi, Kraken, Nexo. It says OKX, but he means OKCoin, all cut off from Signature Bank. If Signature Bank New York is doing this, expect remaining banks to do the same. Signature has been one of the more crypto-friendly banks for on-ramping and off-ramping different things. So you can see here, Alameda's in this list, Binance, Sex, there's a lot of different things. FTX, obviously, a lot of this is coming as a result of FTX. The probes and information they're getting, they're finding out the flow of money around the world is really what this is. Yep. And they want to limit and understand and control, is really what I see is going on here. The flow of these dollars and this fiat. So again, it should not affect us directly, especially most of the people watching this channel. However, something to keep an eye on. And again, the timing of a lot of this is pretty interesting to me, specifically with what's been going on. We know Ripple's involved. I think they're trying to put their bid in being that intermediary to kind of be the Swift of digital assets, so to speak. It's just cold down here. Yeah. I don't smoke, Ralphie, but it's just cold. But this was the other thing that was interesting about this. I saw this tweet came out over the weekend too from Jeremy Allaire. Interesting timing. Brand new product here coming out of Circle, which again, Circle is Goldman Sachs. Anytime you hear Circle, think of Goldman Sachs and traditional banking. If you look at who owns it, who owns USDC, Circle is the issuer of USDC. They want to be the one facilitating a lot of these interbank transfers, being the B2B partner. So Circle's cross-chain transfer protocol is getting closer to launch, such an important piece of infrastructure that can help foster more scalable, efficient, secure, and user-friendly apps built on USDC. Again, this is not a negative thing per se. It's just something to keep in mind. USDC equals US dollar digital currency. You know, when you hear USDC, think of digital dollar. That's what it is. It's being issued by our typical launch date for Vumio should be sometime in March. There's not an official date. But USDC, Goldman Sachs, you think of Coinbase, you think of intertwined with the United States dollar. They've said they will use third-party vendors to facilitate the digital dollar. I think and have said for years, USDC is it. Now they've got a cross-chain transfer protocol, meaning using USDC across different chains in place of, basically a digital asset transfer ecosystem. And again, this is part of why I'm not as bullish on money transfer protocols like Ripple. It's why I've stayed away from them, because it's very political. And who wins between Ripple and Circle probably has nothing to do with technology. It has nothing to do with anything you and I can understand, other than who knows who has the right conversation in the right room at the right time and pays off the right person. And that's just the reality of how big decisions get made.
God, there's so many good chats about this.
All right, well, let me hear it. I mean, I've been talking a lot today. What do you think about this?
No, man. I mean, I think that the Davos initiative is just to destroy privacy and to control the money flow and concentrate it. It's funny that we see all of these decisions being made right as it ends. There's probably some things that they decided on within that. And I've been going back and forth with these all knowledgeable macroeconomic people all weekend about this, and I just bring up the fact that you can still send crypto for gold. And, there's still ways outside of the basic dollar setup, but then it's just like the Ripple part of this. I got into Ripple because of that overlap, because I knew that it was going to happen regardless of what me as a person wants. And I want to make some money on the rails of this thing being set up, because daddy needs a new 50 cal. So, that's just my take on that. But yeah, these things have been discussed heavily at Davos. And I think that the flow of money and the concentration of money is becoming tighter and tighter, and I really hope that decentralization wins. So, yeah.
Yeah, and Casino Doggy says, Davos just finishes up. Mark it up. Swift starts playing games.
Yeah, and Stellar, is, in my opinion, part of the whole cahoot. So I own Stellar as well.
Yeah, Stellar, we know, being used in Ukraine a lot. We know Ukraine being the focus of a lot of political money movement, you could say.
Allegedly.
I don't know how. I mean, allegedly. I mean, a lot of money's gone through there. I don't think that's alleged. Maybe the validity of where it's landed might be a little bit of the allegedly side, but there's tons of money going through there, and a lot of it's been unaccounted for.
I meant to say legislatively.
Legislatively, yeah. There you go. So yeah, it's an interesting thing to keep an eye on. It's something that I'm sure will develop more. And again, this is a lot of times you see these things happening in the bear market when a lot of people aren't paying attention to crypto. Absolutely. So all of you guys in this chat right now, you guys are the smart ones. You're paying attention. Everybody in this basement right now, obviously we're here every single day paying attention to all this stuff. But largely speaking, DZ hit this on the morning stream today. He visited some friends in the past. Most of the general public not interested in crypto right now. They think, oh, it's dead, it's going to zero. Oh, you still invest in that? Isn't that all fake?
It's a scam because of FTX.
Yeah, it's all a scam. Yeah, didn't you hear? FTX scammed everybody. I just want to watch football. I just want to watch, whatever. So
I want to buy Bitcoin again when it's above 70,000.
It just reminds me of that.
That's when it's good.
Yeah.
What did
it's a confirmed breakout.
Samantha broiled deep fried say or something?
What? I have no idea.
I'm just trying to butcher the name so badly because people don't know.
Tell us.
No.
Oh, Sam
Bankman-Fried.
Fried. I wrote a song about Sam this week.
I saw that. That was good. I retweeted. If you guys want to check it out, check out the Hit Network Twitter. Paying too much attention probably annoys the girlfriend. That is very true. You gotta be careful you don't pay too much attention, or get yourself a crypto girlfriend. Hey,
Manawak,
you mean
I can't
a crypto
comment.
wife?
A crypto wife. You're right.
Whoa!
Yes. It's hard to make that adjustment to say wife instead of girlfriend because you've been saying girlfriend for so long. But wife. If you find a girl that loves crypto, wife them up. That's what I would say.
Or teach your girlfriend or wife.
Yeah, there you go.
My wife's all about crypto when it's up, but when it's down, she's like,
well,
but I position myself. I don't care if it goes down. I position myself.
That's right. Well, and I'm sure you've seen the meme. It's a great meme. It's like it's like when crypto's down, it's your crypto. When crypto's up, it's our crypto, right?
Yeah,
Like, hey, how's our crypto doing when it's up? What's going on with your crypto when it's down? But all right, real quick, we're moving right through here, and this is something on that whole SWIFT thing, and I had another tweet on this. I think I lost it here, but United Arab Emirates Minister of Foreign Trade, crypto will play a major role for UAE trade going forward. After the U.S. froze Russia's reserves last year, countries are waking up to Bitcoin's value proposition as decentralized, permissionless bearer asset. And I think this is something I shared. I think the moment the United States weaponized SWIFT, we did it against Iran, and then we did it again here to Russia, to what they were talking about. It was the beginning of the end for the U.S. dollar. Yeah. When we started using our dollar as a weapon within trade war, which we've been doing for over a decade now, it woke up other nations to like, wait a minute, we can't be holding so much of this asset that we don't control when it goes up and down. They print all this stuff and devalue our positions, and they will instantly turn off our reserves and cut us off from the global economy if we don't play ball with them. And I think that was a critical error in the U.S. dollar dominance, and it's been eroding ever since. We talk about the BRICS banks on here a lot, between countries that are outside of the blessing of the United States, so to speak, when it comes to world trade. And there's a lot of these other ones that, like the United Arab Emirates, Iran and some of those other ones that really aren't in the BRICS banks, but they do interact with them. And
you don't want
sorry, I get distracted by the chat.
So you don't want to strong arm somebody else when they're working out and you're not getting better, and that's what's going on here. They're using now becoming archaic technology and continuing to try to beef people around with it, and they're like, oh wait, we have options now.
Right. There is that's the biggest thing. And that's what I always say about Bitcoin is it gave us an option. We have a way to exit the system now easier than ever before. We saw it with, Brexit a few years ago. And now through the Bitcoin, in my opinion, we have a strong way to get out of the US dollar and continue to operate in global trade. Casino Dog said, sorry to say you're right, TJ. A lot of countries falling out of love with the dollar and the US. It's unfortunate. We had dominance for a long, long time. It's unfortunate for us in the United States. It might be very fortunate for many people around the world, in my opinion, because we have been a monetary bully in a lot of different ways. Not saying other nations are going to be more favorable to each other. I think there's a lot of aggression going on with trade war. Yeah, but this is, I think, the beginning of the end. And again, SWIFT system fighting against crypto. I think these are last dying breaths to try to stay relevant.
We're the biggest consumers, though, of all world goods created. We're the biggest consumers of them by far.
That's why I always say our contribution to the global economy is our consumption and our dollar, and that's it.
Yeah. I don't know. My thought on this is like, yes, we have been bullying the system for quite some time.
Why are you looking up Scotty doesn't know?
Because I'm going to do a cover, dude. Colarity, that is a genius idea.
What is this shit?
Colarity thinks I should do a cover song of Scotty Doesn't Know, but with Sam and Caroline built into it.
Oh, I'm in.
Dude, I'm going to just keep going on
your
these
manager.
things. Well, I brought up getting back in the band. I was thinking about getting the band back together, man.
Do it.
And I brought it up to my wife, and she's like, hell no.
Yeah. Well,
who's Yoko?
She gave me an idea. She said, you're on to this new crypto thing now, and the band, they do the best, but it's kind of far off. Why don't you just combine best of both worlds? So now I was like, I got
bullish on wife.
Yeah.
Well,
it was a good idea.
Unbeknownst to you, I'm actually working on taking all the music equipment that we've got stored down here, getting it set up with the guys upstairs. They actually own, they have a stake in a label. We're going to actually turn that into more of a more professional recording area and, be able to use. So I'm going to let them use some of our stuff in exchange for us to be able to use that area. So, stay tuned. But anyway, did you have anything else to add on that?
Oh, just, I think that here, I kind of explained it, but this is basically, in my opinion, now this may ruffle some feathers, but it's basically like a band of nerds being angry at a bully, and they come up with a way to trade pogs rather than, you don't need to pull this up.
Oh, God damn it, but I built it.
Yeah, you don't need, it's, they're trade with other currencies, and they are going to use Bitcoin, all that stuff, but I feel like the U.S. already has interest in Bitcoin in its own way. It's just not really been known by the mass public yet. And we still have an absolute stranglehold and military might on the water, which is where freight is moved for the most part. So until the USS Reagan stops scooting around and parking next to countries and just looking at them for a while.
The Reagan was there first.
Yeah, so that's just my opinion about it. I know I might make some people upset, but I really don't see America falling for probably 100 or 200 years. The world has never seen anything like this since Rome, and we have new technologies.
I tend to actually agree with you on that. I think we're positioning ourselves well through USDC.
Yeah.
That's the number one reason I think USDC has been so interesting to me, is because what did we used to have to do to start getting new people using the dollar? We used to have to go to war and basically destabilize their current government and implement our more stable dollar to fix their economy, and that would create more buying pressure or more demand for the dollar, which would allow us to increase the supply.
It worked twice before.
It did, but it was slow, it was costly, it was messy, it was political.
Yeah.
Now we have one way to instantly create demand for the dollar across the entire globe in one motion. And that's, with digital assets. So I think that's the play for USDC. It immediately increases demand. Every nation now can get into a more stable asset, the dollar. And I think they're going to be pushing that for a very long time. To Drew's point, I do not think it's over for the United States, but I do think we're on a path to the beginning of the end, because eventually just like they woke up to the dollar being manipulated, when you're looking at USD buying power directly next to your local currency and Bitcoin, you'll see that your Bitcoin buying power goes greater over time, while your buying power of the US dollar is diminishing. So
we got a heater there at the bottom.
Sing it together.
Yeah, go ahead.
Melody. Are you doing it?
Oh, no. I was laughing about, I'd rather have the USDC over you trying to liberate me. That's what made me laugh.
It's true. But what's the lyric there? Go ahead, BJ.
I don't think we
sing
should sing it.
I got to revisit the song. I can learn it in a day.
And
Sammy doesn't know.
Oh, hold on.
Fine.
I did want to point out, we got to be careful when we're pulling up clips, because we do get copyright. Like that Jurassic Park clip did get us copyright shot because we, for whatever you pulled up.
Oh, the dance party one?
No. It was pretty short. It was only up there for like 2 seconds, but I did notice that clip.
I thought you could stay under like 5 seconds.
You can, but I don't know. I just noticed we got demonetized for that. So just keep that in the back of your mind. But Sammy doesn't know that's a good one.
TJ, does that mean I don't get ice cream today?
No, you get ice cream.
Hey!
I would not deprive you of the ice cream. I'm a generous dictator.
See?
I'm not the Nick-tator.
Yeah.
Also, before we're done, I did figure out that Cardano thing I sent you. So if we
nice. Well, let's touch on that real quick, because we're getting close to here, I'll do one more thing. This is not a shot at Bitcoin. This is not a shot at Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy. This is just something I found interesting. You guys know I love Ethereum. And there's a constant battle between Bitcoin maxis and Ethereum maxis. Eric Wall obviously leans on the Ethereum, or doesn't lean. He is clearly on the Ethereum side. This for him was a shot. I just found it interesting. He said, imagine having to cope, because he's posting this, like that Bitcoin's doing better than some of these other things. Imagine having to cope post, but the first time that we bought BTC, the price is up from there. When you're down $1 billion, which obviously MicroStrategy way down on their Bitcoin buys right now, because they basically bought Michael Saylor pretty much did what every retail buyer does. He came in, bought the top on the way up, kept buying. He bought the top and caught the falling knife all the way down. Was pretty much out of dry powder when the bottom came, and so now he's gonna have to ride it back up. So if you guys feel like fools for doing that, just know a billionaire did the same thing, and you might be down a few $1,000s waiting for things to break even. He's down a billy. So
0.99.
Yeah, well, you're right, $0.99 billion. But just interestingly, where is it?
Hey, and I was going to say, gold ain't that bad right now. It's touching or beyond its all-time high. So.
And I think it does show on here.
I'd love to see a satire, like almost comedy thing of like a reality show following Michael Saylor around, and it's obviously fake. And then like he's on camera speaking it up, so hype, and then the second he's off camera, he looks at the chart and he's just sweating bullets, just like I don't know, man.
I love Michael Saylor.
The amount of conviction that he's dove in with, and I think it's great. Yeah. And
I appreciate it too. You got to, and to the point that we make on this channel a lot, you got to stick to your, stick to your plan. And that's what he's been doing. He's been accumulating over time. Obviously, this will play out well for him. I believe if he had bought Ethereum, he'd be up $1 billion at this point if he had bought Ethereum at every point instead of Bitcoin. So that's kind of the troll there is like, yeah, it's tough to say it's tough to be bullish when you're down $1 billion and you could have been up $1 billion. Obviously, that's a pretty big swing there.
Yeah.
But I like Ethereum. I thought it was funny.
And you can own both.
You can.
They can.
I do.
You can't.
I own both.
Yeah. Yeah. I sold my Ethereum for profits at the top, and I kept my Bitcoin, just kept adding to it. So it's a longer play for me. I like taking profits off Ethereum, though. It's a violent mover in comparison.
It is. We know since the merge, it's had very strong tokenomics.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm a big fan of Ethereum. I think Ethereum is going to make up more ground on Bitcoin in this next cycle due to the burns of going on with Ethereum right now. It's got extremely strong tokenomics. Again, over time, it may not be the best for the next 100 years. May not be the best for the next 10 years, but I see it on the next 2 to 3 year timeline being a very, very strong pick to far outperform almost anything in or pretty much anything in traditional markets and almost anything in the crypto markets. Sure, you can find some alts that will have some good gains, but they also have a lot more downside risk than Ethereum does. And it's the closest thing I see to a sure bet. Not financial advice. Accumulate as much as you can on your own thesis. BJ. Were you talking about the Cardano stuff?
Yeah, so I just learned about this over the weekend, but apparently there's a bunch of nerds that have been writing in a new language called Aiken.
Nerd alert!
Aiken. Since a lot of people have been aching about how Plutus is to work in. So if you scroll down at time, actually, I can just capture.
So this is not based off Clay Aiken from American Idol.
Should I open this? There you go.
Oh yeah, I can just hold on. Did I steal it over here? Beep boop bop boop beep bop boop. So if I
there you
do
go.
this little chewy over here. So the original tweet was them talking about how in this new language they're actually able to take memory, CPU, and fees, and then this actually is a lot nicer where you can see it here, and actually beep boop up.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so cut the memories on buys down by 87%, CPU by 83, 62%, and everything else. But it's super nice to see that like the beauty of crypto and decentralization is that these are literally dark horse guys who came out of nowhere and wanted to reprogram and make Plutus more efficient, and they're doing that on their own.
And so they're reprogramming the language, not the smart contracts.
So they're making Aiken and then running, it looks like Aiken through these smart contracts. But I'm still figuring this out unless you see otherwise.
No, interesting.
God, I love having you working.
So is this something that's going to adjust current stuff, or is this going to be a different protocol? That's coming out like a layer 3 or something.
Yeah, so if we go back to TJ and you keep scrolling down, it looks like the
down here.
Yeah, so they're saying with like the advent of CIP33 being less resource intensive in term of size. So I'm not sure if they're trying to sneak in there or not. But what they do is a Cardano smart contract language and tool chain.
Right, and Plutus is kind of Plutus Playground anyway is one of the things that are supposed to make writing smart contracts easier for the developers to implement efficient smart contracts. So it sounds like what it looks like is this Aiken thing here is going to make it simpler to make even more efficient smart contracts. And we know the more efficient the contract, it shows all of those times it can increase settlement times, it can decrease fees, it can decrease computational use and congestion on the network.
I mean, dropping memory and CPU alone by 87%.
That's massive.
Like, we could double the block size, or you can make it 87%
more
less
efficient,
intensive.
Right.
Yeah. That's epic.
And part of this is a core design of the way the Cardano network is built to have layer separation from the very beginning, settlement layer being different from transactional layer and some of that sort of stuff. This is that basis alone is what makes it easier, to BJ's point, for people to open source, contribute to some of these layers. And then, hey, look, this is a really great layer. We can just slot it in compared to like what Ethereum had to do when they switched from proof of work to proof of stake.
Right.
It was a massive feat to add a new layer or to start separating layer twos and, creating sharding. It took a lot of, making all of that stuff work. It was very, very complicated to do while everything was already being settled on one layer, where with Cardano, it allows for this kind of innovation to happen more organically. Once it happens, boom, we just slot it right in, and we don't have to have a major. I mean, obviously you have to have consensus, you have to have a vote, but it's not nearly the technical upgrade requirements of what happened on Ethereum. So
I'm excited to follow them because I assume nobody in here has ever even heard of this. Like, this is new to me in the past 2 days.
Yeah, that was new to me too.
I'm not gonna act like I knew what that was, but I'm glad I own some Cardano, especially after hearing what your opinion on this is.
3 or 4 Cardano.
You got a couple?
Yeah. Well, it's great for. I mean, to me, it's one of the, as far as large cap coins, top 10, top 20. It's the most strong in. Atom is another one I would put in there. Cosmos at pushing for decentralization and prioritizing decentralization, which, to the point I was making earlier, is one of the most important things as we move forward in time for humanity, for I think innovation to continue and not get stagnated when the incentives start to get a little bit misaligned.
And that's why I'm actually bullish on. I still don't know what actually happened this weekend with the nodes supposedly going down, but that just proves decentralization is strong. It's what we need to be doing,
right?
Because it's like, I was looking at I've been talking to delegators and a bunch of other people the last couple of weeks, but it's shocking how many pools are actually oversaturated, and delegators aren't even aware that they're in a pool that is getting reduced rewards and they're past the saturation point, when you've got all these other pools that are up all the time that just nobody is delegating to. And it's like, why? Like, decentralized, like, you shouldn't be in the Binance pools, you shouldn't be in the Coinbase pools. It's like, there's other pools out there.
Yeah, like B pool or NES pool, right?
Hell yeah.
NES pool is BJ's pool too, guys. You guys, if you guys are fans of the Cardano ecosystem, like to delegate or stake and know how to do that on your own, go check out NES pool. He deserves it.
I wanted to make a video.
I wanted to point out too, one of the things I was thinking about the other day, going into this next bull cycle, the full cycle, not even just the bull part of the cycle, but this full next cycle, we're actually there's going to be a lot of newer coins that are coming out nonstop for sure. But we're also getting to the stage with a lot of coins and a lot of projects and tokens and protocols that are established enough now that the rubber is going to start meeting the road in terms of them beyond proof of concept, but actual like true institutional and retail use case, which is going to open up some of these things, some, and we're not going to know which ones unless we're aware of what's going on with the fundamental developments and staying on top of the news, because, it could be Atom, could be Dot, it could be Matic. We don't know. At some point, there's going to be, some issues among these different, as they start getting really used and stress tests, especially when adoption comes in. So that's another reason why it's important to have diversification, especially moving forward from here.
Bam. Nicely said. I like that.
No, I agree. I mean, like he said, part of Andreas, I was going to try to find it. I didn't find it real quick, but Andreas Antonopoulos has a video on, I think it's called Failing to Scale Gracefully or something like that. Let me see if I can find it.
Is that the thing about the chasm?
No, he's just talking about failing to scale is part of the growth process. So Ethereum basically hitting a point where they have network congestion and it can't scale beyond that forces you to innovate and come up with scaling solutions. And to what you're saying is we will see failures, and it's up to the current projects to either innovate and stay relevant, or somebody else will come up behind them very quickly and fill that hole for them. So just like we saw with Ethereum, they were failing to scale. Now they have a plan to scale through 2023 with the ETH merge, with sharding. But guess what? Until they do, plenty of layer 2s came up and helped solve, they solved for that scalability issue and created a whole new market. Now you've got layer 2s on Ethereum. And again, we've got other projects always trying to innovate and solve for those different issues. We've got, obviously, scalability is one of the major things that all of these chains are trying to focus on, throughput, all that sort of stuff. Manly Crypto said he read Bitcoin Billionaires over the weekend per my suggestion. There you go.
Boom.
I thought you were going to say you liked it, but you didn't.
What color of Ferraris they're giving each other in the chat over here?
I saw Chemistry Bro said his ADA is going to hit 100K, and I think he means his ADA bag is going to be 100K plus, maybe not $100,000 per ADA, but then somebody else is like, if ADA hits 100K, I'm buying Ferraris for everybody.
If ADA hits 100K, like, I'm going to take over a small nation somewhere and just feed them.
Well, I'm also
I did, Razmataz. I did say they will come in from behind and fill that hole. It happens.
Manly Crypto said great book, by the way.
Great book. Oh, he did say great book.
I'm also going to shill Bryson Richards of Classic Livery of Atlanta. If you have that much money, he will custom fabricate you a car from the ground up, and that is way cooler than a Ferrari. I'm sorry.
That sounds pretty cool.
Or buy a crate Ferrari engine and throw it in there.
There you go. All right, guys, I think that's about all we have time for today. We love hanging out with you guys. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Jason, Razmataz, Urkelson, Hard Fork Crypto, Manly, Ralphie, Crypto Code, Crimson Caravan, Miami Alf, Urkelson, Chemistry Bro, Manawalk. We love all of you guys. Corey Harden, as always. Big Hands, Dan, Scott Bots, Prepper Crypto, 35K. Hey, what are you're in the chat?
I'm answering Crypto Tony. He's
Randall
asking.
Scott, Name, Mr. Wilkes. We love all of you guys. Shout out to everyone. Check out BitLab Academy. If you need that late night crypto fix, Prepper Crypto going live usually between 10 and midnight, sometime in there. Yep. And as always, we'll see you guys back here tomorrow. We love you.
Go mess with Joel.
Go mess with Network Gaming.
Muchachos.